Well, good morning and welcome to another DroneOCan YouTube video. So I am in KZ, Illinois, outside the Days Inn, just a short distance to the interstate, but we won't be taking the interstate because, as you know, our motto is interstates are for suckers. Unless you have to get somewhere right away, then okay, fine. But when you want to see things and do things, don't take the interstate. So anyway, right here next to the truck stop, and just getting ready to load up the car and get going. It's not raining at the moment, but it clearly has rained overnight. I was watching the Weather Network last night in the hotel room, because that's what you do when you're old, and they were talking about a major blizzard moving through the Midwest. Now, from what I could tell on the maps, the bulk of the snow and things is going to be north from here. I'm intending to head south, so I'm hoping to avoid snow, and hopefully I just have to deal with rain today. So depending on what the weather does will depend on how much we see, but I got a couple places I want to see along the way, and let's roll. So, okay, in the car, get that started so it can start to warm up. You probably won't be able to see this very well, but this is the route I'm going to kind of follow. I've got Google Maps up here. Basically, I'm going to be heading south out of KZ and following a number of highways. My first planned destination is Santa Claus, Indiana, and I'm targeting that purely because of the name. I did talk to a fella at the conference I was at who mentioned that he took a group of Canadians there who wanted to see it simply because of the name, and he's like, he wasn't impressed, didn't really think there was much there, but hey, maybe his interests and mine are different. It's been known to happen. And so we're gonna go see some fun stuff maybe in Santa Claus, Indiana. But for now, let's get out on the highway. Classic water tower on the left means we must be coming into a small town. This is Annapolis, not the more famous one in Maryland, but this one here, which I'm not sure if I've crossed back into Indiana yet. I don't think so, because I think I showed you this service station yesterday. So I've actually, oh yeah, I remember this town now. I kind of thought I was covering some of the same territory from yesterday, and it turns out I am. Now this trip is going to be a little different. I mean, there's been a couple of geocaches that have been just off the road, like a kilometer or so, that sounded like they could be interesting. But I skipped them because the roads were gravel, and while gravel roads aren't usually too bad, they sometimes turn into dirt roads, and I don't trust the tires on this car very far, so I do not want to get into any situation where I need good traction. So that's one reason why I'm skipping a lot of those kind of stops. And the other one is the fact that I only have one pair of shoes for this trip, and I really don't want to get them wet and muddy. Wet will probably happen as soon as I get out of the car, but muddy is something I'd like to avoid. So I took a little detour off the highway I was on. There was one of those brown signs that said historical site with an arrow. Didn't say how far, so I started following it, and all it's led me to so far here is the Lawrenceville Vincennes Airport. It's called the Mid-American Air Center, but there's been no more signs about historic site or anything, so I don't really think there's anything here, or there probably is, but I don't know what it is. So I'm just driving through an airport right now for no real reason. Neat looking building. I don't really know the significance of this place or why it was marked as a historic site. Maybe I'll just do a quick look up online here. Okay, so I did a quick Google search, and it sounds like that basically this was a World War... Oops, that's...
In 500 feet, turn right onto Straubel Street. Take the next right onto Straubel Street, then turn right onto Circle Drive.
Okay, whoop. Now that Google's done...
In 600 feet, turn right onto Circle Drive.
I don't know where it's taking me. Basically, it sounds like it was a World War II...
Take the next right onto Circle Drive, then turn right onto South Tinker Avenue.
It sounds like it was a World War...
In 600 feet, sharp right onto South Tinker Avenue.
Okay, I got to...
Sharp right onto South Tinker Avenue.
I have got to put a stop to her here. One moment. All right, I got her sorted out. I figured out what happened when I had done a voice command asking her to search for the Mid-American Flight Center, or I can't remember what it's actually. It's not Flight Center, it's Mid-America something. Anyway, it started navigating to it as a stop, so that's why it was trying to take me in a giant circle. Anyway, it sounds like it was a World War II pilot training facility. So that...
Take the next left onto Tinker Avenue.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Anyway, that's what it's like. There's probably a small museum or something there. And
continue for 2 miles.
And they're probably just not open yet, probably in that neat little building I saw, because, I mean, it's only 9 o'clock right now. But I think that's what it was, then that's why it said historical site, but it's nothing we're going to get a chance to see today, so... Sorry for all those interruptions from the navigation system, but I'm going to get back on the road here because it's still pouring rain, and I've got about an hour and a half to Santa Claus. And I mean, really, that's okay. I'm in no rush today. My only goal here is, with the weather being such a wild card, is I want to get set up at a hotel relatively close to the Louisville airport, because I do fly out the day after tomorrow, and I just want to be close by in case things go awry. I want to be, close to drop off the car at 7 o'clock in the morning the day after tomorrow. So that's all. We will carry on. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but I'm starting to see some things that look distinctively white in the air coming down with this rain. Now, according to the thermometer here in the car, it says it's 47 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm not really at any risk right now of it freezing. But yeah, that's starting to look like snow out there. So today's road trip is not going to pan out quite like I had expected or hoped. Coming up here, got a water tower, Daviess County. Sorry, so much of this video is just taken from inside the car, but the rain just keeps on coming down harder and harder. And one of the radio stations I was listening to mentioned that the temperature is expected to fall here as the day goes on, and the rain is going to turn to snow this afternoon. Now, one of the disadvantages of being from somewhere else is I don't know which city that radio station was based out of, so I don't know if I'm driving into that or away from that. But it was on the FM band, so it was somewhere close to where I am. So today's looking more and more like it's going to be get to my hotel and batten down the hatches unless something significant changes. And this just goes to show how, I talked about in the Budapest video about my semi-charmed kind of life. Well, this just goes as another perfect example of it. I had fantastic weather yesterday for the drive up to Moonshine and to be able to enjoy my moon burger out on the picnic table. And today it's just a completely different ball game when it comes to touring and driving and enjoying the sights. So this is Otwell, Indiana. First real town that the road has taken me through in quite a while. Still raining. The road, the last little section, there's been a few areas of standing water on the road, so hydroplaning is becoming more of a concern, but that may have just been that little section. But there's a lot of water here, and while this isn't the Santa Claus that we're going to visit, he looks kind of fun. Well, welcome to Velpen, Indiana. Another one of these small towns along the way. Railroad here. Be nice to see a train just to break up the monotony of the drive. I know I'm one of the few people that's like, oh, I wasn't lucky enough to get stopped for a train. So it's getting darker and darker the further south I go, but we are pulling in here to Holland, Indiana. I've been to Holland, Michigan before, but never Holland, Indiana. Looks like a bit more of a sizable town just looking at the Google map in front of me. So I'm going to pull in and see, maybe it's about time to fill up the car and take a break. Been on the road for about 2.5, 3 hours now, I think. Well, I guess, I don't know, I've lost track because we've changed time zones again. But anywho, let's see what we see. Well, there's at least one gas station. Probably hit that on the way out of town. Looks like I can pay at the pump. Neat old house here on the left. So yeah, definitely a more sizable town than what I have seen so far. Some murals. Nice town square with some Holstein cows. Fake ones, of course. Swing back around and maybe get a look at those from the car. Roll the window down so you can see things besides the windshield wipers and all the water. But water tower, church steeple, and Holsteins. Now I know I'm going to regret this because I'm going to get my glasses soaking wet, then I'm going to have to get a lens cloth out of the trunk of the car and I'll get even more wet. But the cows over there have a sign on them that says, feel free to hug us, but please don't climb on us. So in the spirit of bringing you some content from outside of the car, let's go hug a cow. Because, I mean, really, why not? Oh my God, the ground is soaking wet here. But I'm going to do it here. Here we go. Have you hugged your cow today? All right. Woo! Yeah, I told you that was going to be a bad idea. I'm pretty sure that's a sign I've been on the road by myself for too long now. Get you a better look at that mural. And as you can see here in a moment, obviously this is a big dairy town if the cows weren't enough of a giveaway, but Here's Prairie Farms, which I assume is some sort of dairy or milk conglomerate. Pretty interesting looking building too, actually. Prairie Farms Dairy, based in Holland, Indiana. I keep wanting to call it Holland, Michigan. All right, I'm gonna get fuel and then get back on the road. So I am in Santa Claus, Indiana. I'm just kind of trying to find the main part of town because, of course, as usual, I did not do any prior research to getting here. So I think I kind of popped out of the south end of town and missed the main part of it. So I'm going to work my way back. So far, it's a lot of what you'd expect. A lot of stores have Christmas in their name, or there's Santa's Candy Castle over there. There's a place called Rudolph Lake, which is an RV park by the looks of it, or campground. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, you know, I saw Kringle's Corner attached to the name of one of the malls. So, and of course, there's the giant Holiday World theme park, which bills itself as the cleanest park in the world. Although today, I think it's much more. You can see the roller coasters in front of me. I think it's more like the most flooded park in the world. A little bit more of it there. You can really see a lot more of the roller coasters and stuff there. Few cars there, some brave souls. I don't see the roller coasters running, but... So I think Santa Claus would probably be a lot more interesting if the weather was better and you could get out and walk around and check out the museum and stuff. But it's just not a good day for that. So I am setting my sights now for, what's the town? Owensboro, which says it's about 40 minutes south of here, but I'm going there because that appears to be the closest Culver's to me. Now, if you're from Canada like me, you may not have heard of Culver's before, but boy, if you're in the Midwest, it is a fantastic burger joint. It's a chain, but it's a fairly regional chain, and I gotta go get myself a butter burger. So, you know, unlike Casey, Illinois, that turned out to be way more fun than I thought, Santa Claus ended up being a little bit of a bust. I was thinking it was going to be more of a small town atmosphere with a lot of fun stuff around the town square. I don't know. I had been warned, like I said previously, from one of the guys at the conference that there wasn't much there. And I'm going to blame it on the weather. I think if the weather was nicer and I had more opportunity to walk around and do some of the geocaches, and like I said, maybe go to the Santa Claus Museum, kind of looked like it had a bit of an outdoor portion to it, so that's why I skipped it. I think if I had done that, it might have been a different experience. So that's just kind of my thoughts, is I don't think I gave it a fair chance, and you can tell me what I missed down in the comments. So we'll march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plant, but we have the power. One wrong turn and suddenly you end up in Springfield, home of the Simpsons. There we go. We made it to Culver's. Looking forward to getting out from behind the wheel for a while. It's almost noon Central Time. So I've been back and forth through time zones multiple times today. But it's almost noon, so that's great timing. So that was good. I always love the chance to grab myself some Culvers. Yeah, so while in there, booked my hotel for the next 2 nights. I'm going to set up in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. It's about 20 minutes south of the airport, so I'll be in good shape on Sunday morning when I have to fly out. So that's good. That's done. I will use that as a base of operations tomorrow to play around in the area. I have 2 or 3 different ideas of things I want to see. A lot of it will be weather dependent or not. And that's about that. Yeah, I'm going to continue to pick my way over there. That's still another, I think looking at the map, it said it's about 2 or 2.5 hours away. It's, 12:30 or so now, so that'll get me in there in good time before it gets dark. The rain has let up for now, so that's nice. But, yeah, back on the road. Now, I don't mean to alarm anyone, but the rain has stopped, and if I look up at that sky, there's patches of blue trying to break through, or at least the sun is trying to break through. So I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but providing things don't change too much here over the next 2 hours, this is going to turn into a nice, pleasant drive in the country. Maybe we'll actually see something this time. This has just been a super pleasant drive in the country so far. Hasn't really been anything to stop at to take a look at, but I'll just share it with you here. I mean, it's just the quintessential country road. I can imagine how lush and green this is in the summer. I've always felt a real connection to this part of the United States. I love the trees and the rolling hills. And yeah, it's a great day now that the weather has cleared up and allows me to experience it. So I decided to get off the highway and take a little detour here through Irvington, Kentucky. Now the rain has stopped, as I mentioned, but you can really, I don't know if you'll be able to tell on camera, but the wind is pretty intense. There's some wind warnings in effect. They're saying winds could be up to 60 miles an hour this afternoon. And there's been a few times on the highway where it's thrown this little car around pretty good, so I believe them. But like I said, this seemed like, from what I could see from the highway, seemed like a pretty neat little town. So I thought I would detour and take a little spin through and check it out. And it seems I was right. We got a caboose there. And an old-time train station. And I don't know what this structure was, but it is pretty freaking incredible. Get you a better look at it there. Wow. It looks like the trains used to go right through it. Is that some sort of like concrete grain elevator? I've never seen one really like that before. It's pretty cool. Now we just need a train to come along. And check these out. There's a cool ghost sign on this building. And then on the building across the street, the Irvington Hardware and Implement Company. So this town turned out to be a real gem, which goes to show sometimes you can judge a book by its cover, or at least judge a town from what you can see from the highway. Nice place.